to weigh in on all this, let's bring in New Jersey Congressman Jeff Van Drew. Congressman, welcome back to the show.
It's great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
All right, well, Rob and I were just talking about this. We have a border crisis. We have inflation that's not going away. COVID at all-time high right now, hitting new heights, and Biden's approval rating sinking. We just said 36%. That's pretty terrible. And meanwhile, what's the president doing? He's on vacation. And I don't mean to make light of someone going on vacation. I think that's great. But 31 times, is this bad politics or just bad optics here?
No, it's bad politics, it's bad public policy, it's bad government, it's imbecilic. I mean, it is unbelievable how badly this president and this majority is doing right now. So disappointing. It's so bizarre, you almost can't take account of it. You know, when you all rifled through all the different issues that are there, I mean, our borders are bleeding. We have problems with foreign affairs with countries that really matter, like the former Soviet Union, Russia. We have problems with China. We are on our knees to the world. We are begging for energy. We have a crime rate that we've never seen anything like this before. I mean, literally, judges are just using a revolving door, Democratic policies. Murderers are literally being let out almost immediately on bail, and they murder again. It's just, I don't even have the words. It's very seldom, to be honest with you. I like to speak a lot, but there's very few times in my life where I don't think I have the words to say. It is so bad. It is so awful. I like to know who the 35% of people who approve of this president, where they are and who they are, because I think it should be 0%.
It is something, and it seems like, sir, that the only people that don't realize how bad it's going are the people that are creating the problem in the first place. They're the only ones that don't see it. Axios has reported that West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, seeing just how awful his party is, he's the one who, of course, single-handedly pulled the plug on Build Back Better. Axios reporting that he is a potential flight risk from the Democrat Party, which should tell you everything you need to know about where that party is at right now. You, sir, are no stranger to switching parties. You were first elected as a Democrat in 2018. What do you think Manchin does here? I can't see him becoming a Republican. Do you think he would go independent? What do you think he does?
Well, I hope he does become Republican, but, and I'll say it right on your show right now, he has my invitation to join the Republican Party. I know he has a lot more than my invitation as well. Certainly, I agree with what he did, and thank God he didn't vote for that bill.
Right.
He may become an independent. He may become a Republican, and I think he's crazy if he stays there. They're just beating the daylights out of him. He's trying to maintain some sense of normalcy in the party. But this isn't the party we used to know, this Democratic Party. This is a party that is extreme. This is a party of socialism. This is a party of Marxism. This is a party that literally is destroying our very nation. We've never seen anything like this before. You've heard me say it. The worst president ever in our history, the worst majority Congress ever in our history. We're on the precipice. We're on the edge. If we're not careful, we're going to lose our nation.
Congressman, have you been able to personally speak to Senator Manchin and, invite him over to your side? I know that you, like Rob said, you made the switch too. What's the pulse on him?
Well, I've done it in a very public way, and I've also sent messages. He's got to think it through, though. I mean, you really have to think it through. It's not easy because some people, are going to be very angry, not on the Republican side, oddly enough. It'll be on the Democratic side, and will say terrible things about him, and he should just ignore that if that happens, because we need to do the right thing here. The Republican Party, I really believe, is going to be the party of the future. We spoke about the inner cities and the issues going on there. Just when you had that interview about 9/11 and the police not even being able to come in Chicago, the defunding of the police, the demeaning and diminishing of the police, these are all Democratic ideas. Everything that is happening in this country is hatched in the Democratic Party, and they're bad ideas. So I don't know how somebody could stay there. I couldn't do it. If I was in the Democratic Party now, I would just, I think I'd be out of my mind. So, I'm certainly glad I made the move, and I think he would be too. And I'm glad to do anything to help.
Right. You're going to see, I think you're seeing a lot of them already starting to walk away before the bloodbath. That'll be 2022. A lot of people don't want to deal with campaigning for that just to lose, and I can understand that. You've gotten a Trump endorsement for 2022. You're up for re-election, obviously, like everybody else. And there's been some redistricting in New Jersey, in your state. How is that looking for you?
It was good. The redistricting was fine. It's still a competitive district. It doesn't mean that, you're just going to walk in and not do anything, which I wouldn't do anyhow, because, I believe that you got to work 15 hours a day easy at this job if you want to do it right. But, I gained part of what down in New Jersey is called Ocean County, which is certainly supportive and helpful. It's a strong Republican county. So if anything, for sure, in stronger conditions, stronger shape than I was before. And I will remind everybody, even when it was a district that was a dead heat, supposedly, she had a lot more money than me, a lot more power than I did. And that was Mrs. Kennedy, Ted Kennedy's daughter-in-law. And we beat her easily, not even in the margin of error. We beat her well out of the margin of error. So if you work hard and believe in America, I think people are picking up on this. And I think they're going to pick up on this in the inner cities, in areas that normally always were Democrat. I think African Americans, Asians, Hispanic people are thinking about it too.
Yeah, well, we're seeing their displeasure with this president for sure. Congressman Jeff Van Drew, always appreciate your time. Thanks for being here.
Always good to be with you. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.